Tristan said, I did all these because it's my authentic self, yet I feel I ended up with toxic relationships. So I'm all on board with your advice. Well, thank you, Tristan. Yeah, it's a different thing, right? You can do all of these things. Like there was a woman in our community, like yesterday or something, who was like, oh, this dating advice stuff, it doesn't work, right? And she started like it can get you in bad situations or something, and or go against you. And she's like, started talking about the situation, and the situation that she was in was this guy just treating her like garbage. And it's like, well, you're not using the dating advice that we're talking about, right? Like like there's a difference between connecting with a man and valuing yourself, right? Part of a huge part of all of this advice, and something that's more important than all the strategies about connecting with a man's heart and sending him all the right text messages and all that kind of stuff, right? Which are all good things, right? They're good things to do. They can get you into a deeper, better, more powerful relationship with a man. But at the same time, the thing that's far more important than all of it, which a lot of women want to skip, is the part about changing the way that you look at yourself, right? Changing your own belief in your own value. Because if you value yourself, you're not going to get into situations with toxic men. If you know what to look for, you're not going to get into situations with toxic men. Although you can, if you know what to look for and you don't value yourself. If you know what to look for and you value yourself, you're not going to get into situations with toxic men, because you're going to see them and they're going to do things and you're going to be like, nah, I'm worth more than that. And you're not going to get with them, right? There's a reason why, if you look at a lot of the women that put in success stories for my stuff and using my stuff, a lot of them talk about how they changed the way that they looked at themselves, how they used my affirmations in the Forever Woman program, and all of a sudden they found this great guy. There's no coincidence between that. There's no coincidence. It's not like, oh, I just happened to start using these affirmations and changing the way that I see myself and started valuing myself, and all of a sudden this guy showed up. It just happened that way. It's done that way for a reason. And if you skip that part and you focus on the connection thing and you end up with a man who's toxic, it's no surprise, because you need to start with the foundation. The foundation is valuing who you are and believing that you deserve something better than, half promises, guys who are married, and, guys who are already in relationships, guys who are breadcrumbing you, guys who are pulling away, for weeks or months at a time, guys who are, going hot and cold, guys who, barely even like you, and you're putting in all the effort and energy and investment and they don't even appreciate you. When you value yourself, you stop doing all of that stuff. And you would rather be single than be in a situation with somebody like that. And does it mean that you're less, there's less men that you can meet? Absolutely. Because there's so many toxic people out there, men and women, that it lowers the number of people that you can be with, but it massively increases the chances that you're going to end up in a situation that's healthy, that's loving, with a man who values you, with a man who treats you right, because that's the only situation you allow yourself to get into. So I hope that makes sense to you, Tristan.